What is up, my friends? It's Twitty, and I'm back with yet another reaction. So, 2 years it's been since Slipknot released a song, and they released the Chapeltown Rag. Um, I already know what the song's about. It's about Peter Sutcliffe, which he was a killer who was dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper because his crimes he attacked women and stuff like Jack the Ripper. Um, I think it was like through the 1970 to 1980 or something like that. Um, but this song is supposed to be about him. Now I don't know exactly why they chose this guy, but let's just see what Slipknot's got in store for us. Is their new album gonna be good? We'll find out. Slipknot, Chapeltown Rag. Let's get into it. That's like very reminiscent of like it was like Spit It Out, where it starts off with the DJ, playing the record. All right, well, let's go back. Let's go back and get into the song. I'm not going to compare it to that song.
All about it if you want to know.
He got right into the lyrics.
All about what they want you to know.
So read all about it if you want to know. Read all about it. Read all about what they want you to know. So is this maybe they're talking about conspiracy in this track? I don't know. I don't really know any much more other than who that guy is. But he's talking about reading all about because like the newspaper and the news, they just tell you what they want you to know. They don't really tell you what you need to know. Like if you think that news is the same as it was years and years ago, oof, I'm sorry, my friend. You better tear that band-aid off now. That's not what it's about nowadays. So let's keep going.
Everything is gone online, and it's as evil as it gets. This is now a fucking trick. Either follow or abandon. Get infected by a vertical event. Check the meter, check your what. Are they ever gonna stop? Running out of daylight, night time's better. But we know how to handle the truth, motherfucker. Scandalous, know-it-all feedback chamber. Nobody wants the proof, they want a number.
So this is very reminiscent of like their first album, I feel like, because this really makes me think of Slipknot. Um, so he said everything's God online. So he's saying that, everything that's online is true. And there's a lot of people who believe that, like everything that they read online is true. He said, and it's as evil as it gets because it is. Like it's just pushing agendas, is all this stuff is actually doing. It's all pushing a narrative. He said, this is not an effing trick. Either follow or repent. No choice. So, I mean, that's pretty much what they tell you. They're like, we're not lying to you. You need to do this right now. If you're not with us, then you're against us. And that's the problem, especially in America, is that like we can't have open discussions without people basically demonizing the other side. Like you can have a conversation and disagree. I don't understand when that went out the window, but it did seem to go out the window sometime that no, you can't even disagree with people anymore. And that's all life is is disagreements. It's since the dawn of humanity. So then he says, get infected by a vertical event. Check the meter, check your watch. Are they ever going to stop? So, I mean, he's just, get infected by a vertical vent. So I kind of feel like he's just talking about like, get infected by what they're telling you to be afraid of or to buy into or whatever. And then he says, check your watch. Are they ever going to stop? No, it'll never stop. Trust me. Till people become aware and they start actually, you know, pushing against and not buying this crap that you see in the media, it's never going to stop. Said running out of daylight, nighttime's better. I wonder exactly if he's maybe even just talking about from the serial killer's point of view. like, but running out of daylight, you're running out of time, Maybe he's even saying that death's better. I mean, there's many ways you could break down that line. He said, but we know how to handle the truth, mother. Do we though? Do we really know how to handle the truth? Said scandalous, know it all, feedback chamber. Nobody wants the proof, they want a number. I mean, you can read into that any way that you want. Like, I mean, that's literally what it comes down to as far as like nobody wants to know what really happened. They just want the number of whatever comes after, like whether it's number of deaths, number of infected, numbers of whatever. They just want to know the numbers. Huh. So far, this is really weird, and I don't know. I thought it was about a serial killer, but now I'm not sure if they're just talking about society in general today. Let's keep going. Take it back a couple. Oh God, that's so reminiscent of like the first album or like their second album, Iowa. Iowa was heavy as hell. I was gonna say I was gonna drop an F bomb, but it's a little. I don't want to drop one yet. I'm trying to watch that in the videos. So we don't deny what is wrong with our lives. I mean, maybe that was a quote from said killer. Because I mean, kind of like we don't. Like, everybody knows that the world's messed up and everybody knows, and like nobody wants to do anything about it. Not that nobody, but like, there's not a big push to change things, which is really sad. I mean, when it comes down to it in all reality, because like, no, we should be wanting to better ourselves as, the human race. That's what life's about, right? Evolving, changing, and growing. Come on, man. But he says, we can't decide what is left of our right to silence our remains. I'm not sure what he means by that. If I'm just going to be 100% honest, he said, we can't decide what is left of our right to silence our remains. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess saying that, it's just we don't know what we have left. That's basically what I can get from that. It said, buried in the back, and I'm sick and alive, hollow as a breath, the further you dive. So, I mean, he's just saying that, he's buried, he's buried because of the way he thinks and because of the way he does things, and people want to keep him down, saying that he's hollow as a breath, the further you dive. I mean, that could even just be like, I don't know, man. If you dive down some rabbit holes on some conspiracy theories and just like other things of that nature, I mean, that stuff leaves me feeling pretty sick to my stomach sometimes. But this is a very interesting track for them. I don't know that I've ever really seen anything where it's made me think that. I mean, normally like their songs are they make you think, but like this one's making me really really think, and I don't know if it's just because I'm breaking down the lyrics or if it's just because it's the new way that they're going, the new direction for the album. That's cool too. This like little chorus is kind of like almost like something from like Subliminal Verses. Oh, how I've missed your honesty. You never miss with your intensity. So, I mean, he could be talking about a person that's just honest with them. He could be talking about just the cruel honesty of life, never miss with your intensity. So obviously, whatever this is, it's such a force in his life that like it just never misses. It always hits him regardless. You're gonna need a new disguise. Maybe it's the same thing keeps coming into his life over and over again. Um, Maybe you could even just be talking about the serial killer in that aspect, because I'm really confused as to if this is about like a serial killer, or if this is about like society. Maybe it's supposed to be a little of both. What do you guys think? Drop that stuff down below. Let me know what's going on with what you think, because I'm interested to know. Because everything's subjective. Lyrics are subjective. What I say isn't, set in stone. It's just the way that I'm interpreting and the way that I'm reading the lyrics and breaking it down. So drop it below. Let's have a discussion. Oh, but then he said vessels burst, vein release, just slide into the nearest lie. Which, I mean, then again, could be talking about the serial killer. He could just be talking about, like, getting high. He could be talking about just sliding into, tranquility and a lie, because some people just, they're happy in a lie. Hmm.
All the ligatures are getting tight, like a style murder another mouth before the trial. Scalpel and then you scalp from the fucking death. Kills for the other vampires and surrogates. It's a ploy for attention and evidence. All your fucking monsters are flaws in your common sense. Do the dance while the shovels are breaking dirt. Everybody mind your fucking business or you get hurt.
Okay, so that adds a whole nother aspect to it with those lyrics right there. He could be talking about even just serial killers in general and just evil people. Because he says, one, two, oh my God, all the ligatures are getting tight like a style. So, I mean, let's talk about choking somebody or something along that nature. Murder another mouth before the trial, which I believe Peter Sutcliffe might have been, he might have been on trial and, like, they didn't have enough proof and he was, like, walking around. I believe he tried to kill some people, like, between, like, a span of a few years or whatever. So, it definitely seems like he could be talking about him. And then he says scalpel, and then you scalp him to F and death. So, I mean, again, could be talking about Peter. Kills for the other vampires and surrogates. Did Peter Sutcliffe believe in vampires? Anybody who knows about this guy, drop some facts down below for me. I might look into him a little bit after this too. Said it's a ploy for the attention and evidence, which, I mean, they talk about that, especially with like serial killers and stuff like that, that, even though they act like they don't want to get caught, they want to get caught, and there's a thrill in it for them, and it makes them feel alive. He said, all you effing monsters are flaws in your common sense. I mean, again, you can apply that to serial killers. You can apply that to people in general, because, like, you don't have to be a serial killer to be a monster. There are people out there that are monsters, and it's just by the way that they act, the things that they do, and the causes that they get behind and they push through. So do the dance while the shovels are breaking dirt. So, I mean, that could just be talking about life. The dance is life, and while the shovels are breaking dirt, while time's ticking, while they're digging your grave. Everybody mind your effing business or you get hurt. That just could be a warning. And again, maybe that's something that Peter Sutcliffe said. Could be. I like that little break there before he said dive. That was pretty cool. It's funny, they got like, it says pre-chorus. I mean, it's kind of like a bridge into the chorus, but it says pre-chorus. And it's funny how it's like they have a screaming thing and then they go into singing, that's very reminiscent of Volume 3, the subliminal verses. Little, I don't know if you don't know anything about Slipknot. Corey Taylor actually, I believe, tore his vocal cords somehow, or he damaged them because in the CD Iowa, he was going for like a really like deep scream, and I believe he actually ended up like blowing out a vocal cord or something like that and had to have surgery. So when they came back for their third album, he screamed a little bit, but he started singing and stuff too. But he'd started working with the band Stone Sour around that time too. So a lot of people, put it to that because I can remember people being kind of upset by the new sound at first when the Subliminal Verses came out. But all in all, it's a great album. I mean, literally about all their albums are great. The only one that I can say personally for me that I haven't listened to a lot of was I believe the Gray Chapter is the only one that I haven't listened to a lot of. But I was just also going through a weird time in my life where I wasn't exactly listening to metal and stuff like that. I wasn't listening to much music at all. But hmm, get into this singing chorus here. So they changed it for the second one. Acknowledging and welcoming a native guest or stranger. I wonder if that's what they were supposed to be meaning when they used namaste. Sorry, I typed it in on Google because I just wasn't sure what that I wasn't sure what it meant. I know people say it like in yoga, they go namaste, but that's like literally all I know. Um, but no, they changed the lyrics because it says, "Oh, how I've missed your namaste. You never miss with your integrity." So you're gonna need a new disguise. Vessels burst, veins release, just slide into the nearest lie. Hmm. Now I wonder, are the lyrics wrong? Did they actually change it for the second part? I mean, maybe they're talking about someone who, um, maybe they're talking about someone who thinks that they're a good person. Integrity, what means the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I could be talking about, oh, he misses, the good person. But he then goes into, you're gonna need a new disguise, vessel burst, veins release, just slide into the nearest lie. So maybe it's someone that's acting good. Maybe he's talking about how maybe this guy, the serial killer, acted like he was a good guy. I mean, serial killers have been known to do that. I mean, Ted Bundy was part of his own damn investigation, like, and like he was a monster, but people just didn't see it. He hid in plain sight. Oh, so it says it's going to go into a bridge now. So let's see what this bridge is about. Wow. Okay. That was really dope. I was wondering if he was going to do any sort of rapping in his fashion because Corey Taylor just has a distinct rap style. Um, but before that, the bridge that is the read all about it if you wanted to know, and everything is God online is what they were saying in the background. I just thought that was a nifty little bridge, and it makes me think that that's probably something that Peter Sutcliffe said. Um, I mean, if it's a song about a serial killer, I mean, they gotta have his quotes and stuff in it, right? I mean, this is like Skinned is a great band for that. If you like serial killers and stuff like that, I'll just throw that out there and give you a suggestion. Um, but then he goes into Stone Like a Beast on a Chain Looking Dead. So I don't know if he's talking about like being stoned as in like, people throwing stones at him, or stoned as in being high. Um, he could be talking about being high and looking like a corpse, because people that generally doing hard drugs don't look the best. He said, feeling strange, what the F? I'm material to sew. I mean, maybe this guy was into, like sewing flesh, kind of like Ed Gein. I'm material to sew into the stains like a catalog of pain, like a martyr in restraints. And that's the thing, is like a lot of serial killers like think they have these weird complexes where they either think they're God, or they think that they're like a martyr of some kind, or someone special. And it's yeah, I just don't. There's just like a whole delusion, that a lot of serial killers can have. So that almost makes me feel like that's the serial killer. He said, I can kill with a will and it's stronger every day, which, I've heard, some of these guys talk about. Okay, I'm really into serial killers, so I listen to a lot of like interviews, and I watch the ID channel and like all that stuff. So like, no, I mean, they hear them talk about it, and they talk about it like an addiction to drugs. Like it's like fueled by an obsession and a compulsion, and it just grows the more that they act on it, and the more that they don't act on it. So, hmm. He says, I'm a knife, I'm a gun, I'm a slit, I'm a scar, I'm a scream, I'm a death, I'm a threat, I'm afraid. So he's just saying, you know, kill you any way possible. He's all that. I'm a threat, I'm afraid. But really, he's afraid inside, and said that you will never understand. I'm not the same. Which a lot of serial killers talk about feeling different than others, and they lack certain emotions and social norms. Which, I mean, it doesn't mean you're a terrible person. It doesn't mean you're destined to be a serial killer if you feel like that. Not everybody feels the same way, and then there's all sorts of things that go into like chemistry in the brain and stuff like that. And just because you're not normal, that doesn't mean anything. Like, just keep going. Some of the best people are the weirdest ones. But he says, you better call the 999, which, if you know anything about England, it's not 911, it's 999. I want a face that you can only recognize. So, I mean, and that's a lot of killers want to be famous. Especially like you're talking about the Yorkshire Ripper, which is supposed to be an ode to Jack the Ripper, which there was a famous From Hell letter that was sent to the police, and it was just kind of like dubbing Jack the Ripper, and all that stuff. It's a little speculation on if that was really him. But I mean, the Zodiac Killer did the same thing, but then again, it's all speculation. People weren't caught, so you don't know if they were the ones really playing the game, with the cops and stuff like that. But I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, people are so egotistical, like serial killers especially can be so egotistical that, they think they're untouchable. And, the thing is they're just flirting with being caught. Because that's what a lot of them just secretly kind of want to be caught. But because it says, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. And that's when, like, afraid of being different, afraid of getting caught, afraid of these sick desires that they have, And then it says it goes into an outro. What do we got here?
When everything is gone online, nothing is. When everything is gone online, nothing is.
So I mean, the last lyrics, when everything is God online, nothing is. When everything is God online, nothing is. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just talking about when you believe everything, you'll fall for anything. I mean, this is the oldest, you know, not the oldest, but it's an old saying, you know. And if you are putting everything up on like to such a pedestal that it's, you know, a god level, you know, then like what is, you know, do you believe in anything greater than yourself at all, or do you just believe that you're less than everything? You know, so is I feel like this is a definite conversation starter song. You know, I mean, I think it was definitely inspired by this serial killer, but you can definitely get a lot more meaning out of it than just talking about the serial killer. Because I mean, that's the thing about it too. Is a lot of serial killers like to make social statements and stuff like that. You know what? Sometimes, you know, they might actually have a point, but like it's not okay to do what they turned around and did. Like you can, like I said, you can do debates, discussions, all that stuff. Like those are healthy ways to create change. You know, creating change through fear and, you know, stuff like that. It's no better than some of the worst people in history. You know, so definitely a crazy song for Slipknot. I'm not really sure that there's many songs. I mean, there's some songs that are deep, but I don't know that I've ever really felt like conflicted after a song like that about like, you know, if they were just talking about what it said they were talking about or if it was more than that. Because it definitely seemed like there was a lot more going on underneath the surface of this song. But I thought I'd show you guys another band that I love. I love Slipknot. I was really excited to hear this song. It's a pretty dope song. It gives me a very nostalgic feel of their first few albums, and just it shows their ever evolving sound. You know, and that's what I've always appreciated about Slipknot. And Corey Taylor is just a crazy vocalist. Like he can sing, he can rap, he can scream, um, all of it. You know, so yeah, if you guys want me to react to more of this album when it drops, let me know down below and we'll turn around and we'll go through that journey together. I have no problem. I've been enjoying doing these reactions with you guys. So anything you want me to react to, just drop it down below. It doesn't have to be the same band that I'm reacting to. But I hope you guys are all safe. I hope you guys have a good week into a good weekend, into a good holiday. And if I don't see you again, later, my friends.